Morning Raiders family, Berkey here on Saturday morning actually. What are we, 6 hours, 6.5 hours away from kickoff for our final home and away game against the Warriors. Round 25. After the guys have been flogged since the 1st of November last year, we're at the end of this particular road. I mean, it's been a brilliant effort. We've scrounged, we've trained hard, we've kicked, we've punched above our weight. Any synonym you want to use about our year, they've all been positive ones. Now it's really the exciting time of the year, really for us to kick up the adrenaline, to kick up the want and the need. All those really important buzzwords and emotions that come with semi-finals, we're now going to experience again since 2016. So that's really exciting news for us all. But we've got a game to win today. So there's some processes and systems we have to make sure that we still do to get the 2 points against a very desperate Warriors side who really won't care. So it's critical that we score first, open up a lead, and the Warriors' self-belief will just fade. So we have to make sure that we follow everything we've been doing since November last year to this present, and not deviate away from it so soon to the finals. So let's get into the top 10. Probably the main four suspects with the Warriors. Let's go with Roger. Same as the last game against the Warriors. It's all about Roger. Once again, you can't totally nullify or control a great player like Roger. You can only try and nullify his options. And the options with Roger are fairly simplistic. Make sure that when we kick, that we bounce the ball to him. We don't kick it on the full. Make sure we have a straight line against him. No one up in front of someone else, because that's when his stepping game's very critical. Roger's strength running to the camera, so running this way, is his right foot, left foot step is far more potent than the other side, left foot, right foot. So if we're going to kick to him, we need to kick to his left corner, to make sure that he's bringing it back on that angle, because his steps nowhere near as potent. Late in the game, in the first half particularly, he'll go to the edges. So he's going to try and nullify Jared, Elliott, Nick, Oldfield, those types of guys. He really tries to sniff around those edges a lot with second man plays with Blake Green and Cody Nikorima, which I'll come to shortly. But the big thing with Sheck, we just got to make sure that we don't get overexcited with him. We have 2, maybe 3 in a tackle. We don't crowd in, because if we start to crowd in on him, that's where we're going to be leaving holes on the edges and wider and through the middle. So we just got to have confidence, the system and process, the confidence, 2 players in the tackle, lock the ball up, and we'll nullify Roger as much as we can. Number 2, Isaac Luke. His last game for the Warriors. He's going to be solid. He's going to be chirpy. He's going to be in your face. He's desperate for a contract next year. So that's a danger type of player who's trying to play for a new club. He wants to finish this year on a high. So we just got to make sure if we can get a couple of errors out of Luke, which he's now got in his game, it really nullifies his confidence and really bogs down that Warriors momentum out of dummy half. They're a big pack, the Warriors. They like to get on the front foot. So they like to muscle over the line. They like to win that ruck. They're big bodies. So we've got to play smart, particularly with Luke. Said if we can get some errors out of him early, it's going to nullify their go forward. His service out of dummy half is not as slick as it used to be. So he's passing from right to left. The ball lobs. It doesn't go flat. So we've got a couple of seconds there in defence to get up and nullify their edge plays either way. But Luke, once again, close to the line. When they're in attack, he's going to have a chop. He's going to have a go and try and get a lazy defender or a lazy marker out and burrow down low. So once again, we just got to try and take his ball time off him and his ball management time off him, and really give him some heavy-handed defence all day around that ruck area. Excuse me. Number 3, Cody Nikorima. So I don't think he's 100%, but he's coming in on the left edge of 5'8". Now, the Warriors like to shift the ball to the middle. So I'm running this way. So the Warriors are running this way. They like to shift the ball 25, 30 metres infield. Then they do a switch back to the left with Nikorima usually finding a second man pass, usually Blake Ashfield or someone like that out the back. So we've got to make sure that line on our right edge. So a new right edge this week of Hudson Young, Nick, and Oldie. or Sebastian Chris, one of the two. Got to make sure we talk, boys. Make sure the line comes up because Nicarima will try and hit a skinny blindside as much as possible to catch out a lazy defender. Other than that, Nicarima does not do a hell of a lot. He likes to run wide and hit an edge player who's also lazy and tries to draw in the centres. So he'll get the ball, run on an arc, looking at the centre to try and get him interested to try and beat that edge defender coming up to him. So we've got to make sure that, as once again, we slide across, keep the inside players tight to our edges, and make sure we give Nicarima no time, force him across field, force him to the sidelines, and then try and push him into touch. But he'll certainly hit those edges quickly, first, second tackle sometimes as well. Number 4, I've gone for Blake Green. He's their halfback. He's going to be their main organiser. He's very, very, very slow with his kicks. So hand to foot is extremely slow. It takes an eternity to get his kick away. So we really got to, once again, put a lot of pressure on him. He's going to be their main go-to kicker. With Tavita Harris out injured. So we just got to put pressure on him. And these are the sorts of plays we've got to get right for the finals. We just got to make sure that it's all about us and we're really keeping those structures and systems right in getting to the kick or getting to the kick chase. But Blake Green's going to be their main organiser. He'll play right edge or right-hand side in attack, so our left edge is going to be hitting. And Tuivasa-Sheck's going to be his main go-to man 9 times out of 10 once the game opens up or once the game starts to flow. Let's come to us. Number 5, I've gone for refinement. Now, as I said, we're at a level now where we're into the finals. So today is a day, all that training we've brought in together, the last 25 weeks of the year, the 2 or 3 months pre-season training from November last year. Today's all about refinement. What I mean by that is making sure that our field position's good in attack. We know where we are in defence. We know where the kicker is. We know our chasers moving up the field. We know who runs an angle, where those positions are and so on. It's all about refinement today, little 1%ers to make sure that we are fully momentum-rised, or is there such a word? We have full momentum for next week in the finals and the week after and the week after. And it's got to start today. We can't be having a down day. We can't bring ourselves from here and the Warriors are here and play to their level. We've got to maintain the rage here and force the Warriors up to our standard. So those little things today are really important, that we have that momentum, as I said, going into next week and just doing those real little things we've done so well all year. Number 6, I've gone for the young guns, and Ricky's done this beautifully today. He's brought in the young guns to keep that energy, to keep those guys who may be looking too far ahead, to give them some really gritty, heavy game time today, because you just don't know what might happen. So Chris, Oldie, Young, Gula, those types of guys. JJ Collins on the bench. I like JJ Collins. I think he's a really good impact player, big body, which we need against the Warriors. But these guys are going to be bouncing around. They're going to have energy. They're going to have want, and they won't want to lose because they want to go into the semis as much as the players that are rested with a lot of momentum inside them. So it's good to see these young guys really getting a big go. I'm liking the look of Hudson Young again. Corey Horsburgh's been dynamic the last couple of months. So these guys is going to bring a lot of energy, a lot of want, and a lot of commitment, and just take the guys with them forward. Number 7, I've gone play wide. The Warriors do not like sides that go wide to the edges. Now, the weather may curtail that a bit today if it's windy or it's raining, but the Warriors do not like sides that spread balls and play wide and edges. They just don't like moving across the field in defence. Their defence is very haphazard when you swing it out wide. So we've got to be real clever today, coming back to the refinement, and not play the Warriors game where they want you to try and go down the middle. Sure, Papa, Louis, Corey, Ryan Sutton, we've got to get a couple of settlers, but then we just got to back ourselves, back our confidence and back our communication to hit those edges. As I said, the Warriors have never ever liked sides that play wide, open brand football from side to side, side to side. They just do not like that type of play, and that's where we've got to hit them. Number 8 was Hodjo, and this is where I think Hodjo's game, particularly if you watched the Warriors game last time, he played those edges and those wide plays beautifully. Short blind side, he was off. Through the middle, he was off. He only gets that opportunity and the right to do that if we're winning that momentum and that ruck game going forward. If we're on our back heels and he's got nowhere to go and the players aren't pushing up with him in support, we're going to struggle. But I'm feeling that the way Hodjo likes to play the Warriors is that really upbeat speed game, keeping the ball in play, and making them really work them overtime in defence with inside balls, straight flat runners. The likes of Corey Horsburgh that I think will really excel, particularly with offloads. The Warriors hate offloads, especially if they've got 2 or 3 of their big bodies in defence and someone gets an offload. It really drains the rest of the defensive line. So that's where Hodjo can really be up today, really bring his troops with him, and get the Warriors particularly on their back foot early. The speed game, as I said, if we play really up-tempo today, bringing Nick in, Bailey from the back, Jack running those beautiful sweeping straight lines down through the middle third, once again, the Warriors will struggle big time with that type of gameplay. So we've just got to be careful. We've got to, I think, got to try and keep the ball in play as much as possible against the Warriors. I don't think their fitness and their defensive capabilities on repeat sets, excuse me, are as solid as other sides. So we've got to try and get as many repeat sets off them as we can. Once again, comes back to refinement. Aiden's kicking game's got to be smack on. Jax has got to be smack on. Jax was a bit wobbly last week, gave Cronulla a couple of 7-set repeat sets of 6 or 7 tackles. So those little things we just got to make sure we tweak and really earn and make sure the Warriors are really earning their keep. Number 10, I've gone for Jack. I think the way that he's now leading the back line, probably would be leading the back line with Jared and taking control is beautiful to watch. I think today he can have a real field day. He's against a smaller 5'8" in Nicarima, so he's a big body. He may not come up too much against Nicarima because he's on the left side. Jack's our left edge, so he's going to be up against the likes of Blake Green, Adam Blair, Blake Ashford, those types of guys. So he can really use his robustness and his aggressive running style really to drive down that middle third. Like Jack is built like a lock forward, let's be honest. So he's got to use that momentum and the size of his body, which he does beautifully, just to give us that front foot momentum. I'd just like to see Jack today really make sure his kicking game is on song against Roger, bouncing those balls into Sheck, bouncing those balls into their big wingers and make them come out from the corners. Nothing worse than a fullback or a winger hemmed into a corner, looking up and seeing a green machine come in to try and smash them to pieces. That's where we've got to really start to drill down now these little plays of the field, because we're going to need that to be spot on and blue ribbon over the next couple of weeks. So Raiders fans, that's it for my final season of the Bourkeys top 10 previews. Looking forward to the finals next week. I will definitely have a post-match review of this Warriors game, and then a couple of specials next week I'm thinking about in relation to some top 10s I got thinking around my mind. But this is a game today, guys. We just have to win. We just have to score first, put the Warriors out of their misery by half time. We don't need a 14-10, 18-12 scoreline, with 5-10 minutes to go. We really need to put the foot down and be a ruthless good side. That's what ruthless good sides do. They put these types of sides away early and they make sure they do a really good job on them. So Raiders fans, as always, I really appreciate your love on my Facebook page. YouTube channel's up and running. Love to see you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Any questions? I love to hear your questions, your comments, your chats, anything like that. Hook me up on your hook me up on your podcasts. Are all up and running. Google, Spotify, Apple. Any cruise size, let me know. As always, guys, this is Berkey, Bleed Green, out.